executive producer and lead writer of Doctor Who, Mr. Stephen Moffat! Well, Stephen, welcome to Rio.
Thank you.
The Doctor has had many people travel alongside him in the TARDIS. What do you think the role of the companion is in Doctor Who?
Well, there used to be an idea that the role of the companion was to sort of potter along beside him and have things explained to her. But I don't think that's true at all. I think it's never been true. I think it's a very dynamic relationship. I think the Doctor is this strange, occasionally, very often, very dangerous man. And he needs to be in a dialogue with someone as strong as he is, intellectually and sort of spiritually as strong as he is, to make him the hero he can be. Without that person by his side, that very special person, he's nowhere. He's a threat. I think if you look at all the great Doctor Who companions from the old series, from the new series, that's what they do. I think they make him better. And him being better saves us all. It reminds him which side he's on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the woman who keeps the Doctor under control, the amazing Jenna Coleman!
So Jenna, from the first time we met Clara, we knew she was a feisty and confident woman.
Yes.
How do you think the character has grown since you started the show?
I think she's grown more confident with the Doctor and got to know him better and how it works and how the whole world of traveling in time and space does. But actually, I think what's really interesting about her is she was pretty sure of herself and pretty confident before she met him. You know, I think he offered her all of time and space and she said, come back tomorrow and try then because, you know, I've got plans.
Do you adapt the way you write Clara to reflect Jenna's personality?
So you start getting led by the actor all the time, and I feel particularly this year, it just feels very, very strong and very, very different, and there's a sort of, I don't know, your own accent is coming out more this year. That's funny, isn't it?
It is funny. And do you know what's really interesting as well? I notice when Mark Gatiss writes a script, the northernisms. Because I'm from in the UK, what we call up north. And that's my accent
or
is
what I
up
call
north.
slightly less south. But
But you hadn't been long in the series when Matt Smith announced that he was leaving. How did you feel about knowing you would be working with a new lead actor?
Well, when I joined the show, I pretty much knew Matt was leaving, so I always knew we had a very limited time together. But you know, it didn't make it any. It was still very, very emotional, and it was a very special time and a very difficult goodbye. But then in the same sentence, you suddenly realize that that's the end of an era. But then with an end of an era begins a whole new era. And then I have the news that Peter Capaldi will be entering the TARDIS, and you get to work alongside not only an amazing actor, but an amazing, generous, gracious, extremely funny, extremely clever person, and get to be by his side and see him create this part and create his Doctor, this iconic role. So that, for me, was a real privilege and joy to be by Peter's side from day one and see him create the 12th Doctor.
Did you both say yes at first when you offered your roles, or was there any hesitation?
No hesitation, no.
How does the relationship change for Clara and the new Doctor? We've already seen her admitting she doesn't know if he's a good man or a bad man.
Yeah, it's kind of like starting all over again. Her best friend in the entire world has changed his face. And I think that's quite a scary thing to happen to anybody. So there's an element of getting to know each other all over again, apart from the fact that they know each other really, really well at the same time.
Stephen, what does having a new doctor bring to Doctor Who, especially this new doctor?
It allows you to go back to episode 1 in a way. I think one of the reasons Doctor Who continues to be so successful is it's always beginning. It just always begins. And with a new Doctor, the story begins again. You simply don't have to watch anything before this. You can start right here.
I would like to ask, for the three of you, which one is your favorite monster or villain for Doctor Who?
My favorite monster in Doctor Who, and this is the correct answer, is the Daleks. Some people might think their favorite monster is not the Daleks. They are wrong. Because the best monster is, and always will be, the Daleks.
I'll take the silence. Or / Weeping Angels.
The Chumblies.
Chumblies. I got it.
Call yourself Doctor Who fans.
And during this tour, you've had the opportunity to get to know the fans, and probably for the first time since you became the Doctor. Having visited a few countries lately, please share with us what has surprised you the most in each of the international cities you've been to.
The fans have been amazing, and are they different? And I'm always fascinated to ask them what it is they like about Doctor Who, because I grew up in Scotland, which is cold and dark, in a cold and dark room. And in the corner of the tea was this little flickering blue television set, and this magic would play out every Saturday night. And so for me, it was almost like a fairy tale that someone was telling me, that I just loved. And to discover that in Brazil it is huge is wonderful. It's just extraordinary. And the fans have been so pure in their response. I think their affection for the show is utterly sincere. And to feel that is an amazing privilege, so thank you.
What I'd like to know is, what does Doctor Who means to you?
It means that I sense that there is, when I was a kid, I always sort of thought that he was out there. And that if you were depressed or alone or bullied or felt bad or life was tough, that maybe there was somebody who would be on your side. So I think to be given that role makes me feel immensely privileged, really. And that I would just devote myself to caring for it.
If you could play any other companion, classic or new, in the show, who would it be and why?
That's an impossibly hard question, I think, because I'm very happy with where and who I am playing Clara Oswald. However, if I could just steal Stephen Moffat's answer, K9.
What do you think makes Doctor Who such a popular show, capable of transcending age, language, and gender barriers?
It is. Look, if you compare the precinct of any show, right? It's a hospital, or it's a detective show, or it's a nursery. Whereas Doctor Who's got a precinct of the entire universe, that anything that ever happened in it, right? It surprises me the rest of television bothers to show up with a format like that kicking around. But it's also simple. You can jump on Doctor. You can jump into watching Doctor Who at any point you like. Every episode is episode 1. Every episode is a good beginning. In fact, there is no episode 1 of Doctor Who, because in the very first episode he's already traveling. So it's just, it's simple, it's clear, it is simultaneously always completely different and sort of always the same, and it combines the vision, the virtues of being a brand new show and an ancient tradition at the same time.
Mais alto!
So, can I just say this is the last night of our world tour, and we're thrilled that we're here in Rio. Woo! But there are just some people to thank, and those are the people at BBC Worldwide who have put this package together and got us here. We've gone round the world in 12 days. We've gone through time zones, we've crossed date lines, and we've met thousands and thousands of the most wonderful fans in the world. But what I have realized is that there are even more fans out there that we haven't got to meet. Fans in villages and in homes and towns and cities all over the world, all over the planet of fans. And I just want to say to them, thank you very much for being fans of Doctor Who, because Doctor Who belongs to you, and the only reason that we here who have the privilege of making the program are here is because of you. Thank you so much.